Welcome to this tutorial. My name is Diane. The objective of this tutorial is to teach you how to create a simple monthly spending tracker on Excel. So the idea is you will learn how to create a tracker using the SUMIFS function, an Excel table, as well as another feature, conditional formatting. And each month, you only need to manually input the spending transactions. Then the tracker will automatically update itself, the spending summary by category you have specified. So let's get started. So before we proceed to learning, I want to show you what a tracker actually looks like and how it actually works. So on the left-hand side, you see the budget table. I broke down spending into regular spending and one-time spending, and I chose these categories as they are pretty common for monthly spending. You can customize your own spending, of course. Here you see the annual budget as well as the monthly budget. So these will serve as a benchmark for comparison to our actual spending later on. So this is the main part of the tracker. You see how the categories are organized horizontally across the table, and we have the month here. So what this does is it sums up all the transactions that are tagged housing for January. And for each category, you can see the sum of the category spending and the sum of the monthly spending as well. So the idea is this breakdown will allow you to see your spending by category and by month. I've also included a trend for the monthly regular spending. Right now, it only includes 3 months of data. That's why it's only up to March. So what I'm going to do right now is to enter some April data to show you how this table will get updated. So let's go to transactions. So this is a table where you will enter the monthly transactions by yourself, or you can simply, if you use credit cards, you can download spending history from your online banking service and copy and paste into this table. That would be more convenient. So information here includes the date, the month. This is a function that just takes a month from date. Here's the transaction, the month of the transaction, so the month of spending, and the category I label each transaction as. So let's enter some April info. Let's say on April 1st, I went grocery shopping and I bought $200 of grocery. And this is a food and drinks category. Let's say April 2nd, I bought a bubble tea and I spent $10. Again, this is also food and drinks. So we have entered the values for this category only. And when you go back to this table, you can see that under food and drinks and for month April, the value is automatically summed up to be $210. And this also shows up here as total regular because you don't have anything else entered here. That's why this only reflects the food and drinks. Here as well, there's nothing from learning, travel, and other yet. So what if this exceeds the budget, which is $300? So let's change this to $500, which is unlikely, but just to show you as an example, this actually turns red because it exceeds the budget. So you can easily detect whether you have exceeded your budget or not. At the end of the year, you can also compare the total spending. Okay, so I have just put in more transactions that we can use. Okay, so hi guys, so we are going to start building the tracker. I'm gonna skip the budget part because it's very straightforward, very easy. So let's just go to the main tracker part. So I am going to name this cell monthly spending by category. And the first column we'll have is the month. And then we'll have all these categories in this row. So what we can do is copy and transpose when you paste these three as well. We are also going to create a total column here that will sum up the spending from all these categories. What I want to do is to add another one that sums up the regular spending only. I think will be worth looking at. Regular total. Month will be January to December. Okay. And we will also have a total that we can look at for the annual spending. To make them prettier, we can use, what I just did was I use a format painter, click this, and then drag to all the cells so they will pretty much have the same format as this one. You can also change your color here. Let's just make this green so it looks different from the budget. And for these two columns, because they are the total columns, so they should look different from these ones. So let's make them orange. Okay, and these I want to make them bold because they're the total. We have the summary table ready. In order to create functions and formulas and to automatically sum up the spending, we will need a data that can be fed into this table. So let's go to a second tab and name it transaction. Here we want to build a list of transactions. Some key information we need would be date, month, the transaction itself, what it is about, and the amount of transactions, and most importantly, the category. So I want to make this into an Excel table. So we will go to Insert, Table, and my table has headers. So you can see that this table is named Table 2. I want to call it Transaction so that it can be easily referenced. So let's enter some transactions into this table. Let's say on January 2nd, I went shopping for grocery. I spent $200. I will categorize this as food and drinks. And for this January 3rd, I went to watch a movie, blah blah blah, and I spent $15, and this will be entertainment. So we want to make sure these categories will actually match the names of the categories here so that they can be cross-referenced. Month, we'll use a month function to return the month from the date. Note how when I first update this row, the other row also gets updated. So I'm going to continue to enter more transactions. So I have entered more transactions into the table. Now we can start building a tracker. We'll be using this function SUMIFS. What it does is it summarizes the data in one column based on other columns and the value in those columns. So for example, for housing, what we want to sum here is all the rows that are tagged housing and for the month January. The sum range will be the amount. the criteria range will be month. It has to equal to January. And the second criterion will be the category. And this category has to be housing. When we hit enter, what it does is it summarizes all the rows that tag housing. For January, there's only one, which is this row here. It's $1,000. That's why it shows $1,000 here. So we can just copy this function and paste into all these cells so that they will do the same, which is to calculate the sum of all the rows that have this category, and the month will be equal to the months here. But before we do that, we want to make sure that the criteria will be locked so that when it moves across the cells, we're picking up the right criteria. So for example, this tracker F5, it's month January. When we move down, we want to make sure that this becomes February, but this cell, it becomes March. So what we do is we lock this column here by using this dollar sign. And for the category, we also want to make sure that when we move across the row, that it captures food and drinks, entertainment, miscellaneous only on this row. So we will lock the row. Now we can copy this and paste into all these cells. And we'll continue to do that to every cell other than the total. You see, the moment we copy and pasted the function into the cell, it already automatically sums up the values here. So now we will want to sum up these regular categories. So we use the sum function. And this will be the total for the regular and all these one-time spending categories. You can drag it down so it does the same for every row. And again, the total here will be the sum of the spending for each month for this category. Again, copy and paste. The last thing we will do is to visualize the regular spending. So let's first delete this month in from the cell, and then select this region excluding the totals. We go to Insert, 2D column. So now on this graph, you see the months as the axes and the categories as legend. But what we want is to have these categories as the x-axis, and we can see the monthly spending for each category. So we do right click, select data, switch row and column, click OK. Now we can see each category and the monthly trend for the spending. Right now we only have, I think, up to April 2nd. So as we put in more data, this trend will be more complete. Let's also name this monthly spending by category and make this wider because we will have more data in the future. So next we're going to talk about conditional formatting. We want to compare the actual spending with the budget. So all we can do is, let's say for housing, we'll select the range for January to December, and we'll go to conditional formatting, highlight cell rules if it's greater than the monthly budget specified here, $1,000, and click OK. So what it does is if it goes over $1,000, it will be highlighted as red. So let's try this one as well. Greater than $300. So you can see that for January, March, and April, the actual spending exceeded the $300, and that's why they are highlighted as red. So we do the same for all these cells. So once you have the summary table built in with the function and you have this trend chart, in the future all you need to do is to update the transaction tab, and then the tracker will update itself. That concludes our tutorial. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment or message me if you have any questions. Thank you. Bye.